Hey, Drew. Drew, you there, man? Your mic is muted.
Daggone it, Jordan.
There we go. There you go.
That is your job, producer extraordinaire. Greetings and good evening. Welcome to the RoundTable. Today is Friday, January the 12th, 2024. Bonsoir, comment ça va? I am Drew, and welcome to tonight's episode where we dive into the Wildcard Weekend for 2023. Ladies and gentlemen, the time has come for us to focus on the 14 best teams remaining in the National Football League and talk about these 6 games that we have this weekend starting tomorrow, and that runs through Monday. So let's get right into it. And there is no one else in this world that I would much rather have this conversation with than my brother Griff. Bro, how are we looking on this eve of the playoff or the wild card playoff weekend?
Man, I tell you what you thinking that it was going to be the games that we was going to be focused on the most this weekend, man. With all the news that took place since we had our show on, man, it is a lot of energy, a lot of stuff. The landscape of college football basically changed. The landscape of the NFL has changed here in just the last 72 hours, bro. And I'm fired up and I'm ready to talk about it.
Well, let's get into it, sir. You mentioned how the landscape of both the collegiate and the NFL levels have changed in the past 72 hours, because the 2 greatest coaches in each respective level have decided to call it, I won't say quits, but time to transition from their current capacity as the head coach and general manager of one organization on a professional level, Bill Belichick, and Nick Saban deciding to call it quits at Alabama, which crushed a whole lot of hearts this weekend, but it also made a whole lot of people happy and said, thank you for your service. God bless, good night, good riddance. But we will get into that in a little bit. But let us begin with the GOAT of the professional coaches. Bill Belichick has been coaching or been in the NFL for well over 50 years, has a total of 9 championships under his belt, 6 as a head coach or 7 as a head coach, 6 as a head coach with the New England Patriots, and 2 as a coordinator under Bill Parcells back in the late 80s, early 90s with the Giants. Now, let us first give him his flowers. I will begin by saying that, yes, he is the greatest coach of all time, even though he's not the most winningest coach of all time, 15 games short currently, before he's able to take over Mike Shula in that category, but winning 6 championships in a 20-year period, as it was mentioned several weeks ago, that prior to his arrival, New England was not a destination spot for NFL players. It was not somewhere they wanted to go to actually, 1, make real money, 2, get a championship, 3, eventually extend their career. But after Bill Belichick's arrival and Tom Brady's draft and the 2000 draft pick being the 199th quarterback picked, there was ignition. And in the past 20 years, they were the team that was really America's team, because they created an atmosphere of winning. And to be America's team, that is what is required, to be winners. What do you think about the retirement of Mr. Belichick? I see you shaking your head, man.
Hey, man. Hey, again, I hear you with the America's team, but we didn't give ourselves that title. America did. So that's a conversation that you need to have with America. And just because you winning don't mean that just make you America's team. The team that is talked about the most seems to be America's team. And I'm going to leave it at that. Let's get back to Bill, man. First of all, hats off. the Bill Belichick, man. I mean, nobody than that better. And I don't think we've seen the end of Bill. You said it. He 15 games short of passing Schuler's record. And I think he will be landing somewhere. Bill is one of those guys, I think, be one of them guys that's going to coach until he pass out on the sideline. I'm just going to say that. And like Robert Kraft said, he just don't look forward to seeing him on somebody else's sideline with a sweatshirt on and a hoodie. But the dude been doing it, man, since he was a kid, man. This dude go all the way back when his dad was coaching at the Naval Academy. And I know that some team will give him that opportunity to come get them 15 games. I tell you that. I think we still got 2 years out of him. With all the teams that's out there, you got 7 teams without, well, 6 now since they been promoted from within. I'm pretty sure one of them teams gonna say, hey, you know what? We can bring Bill in here one last time, one last hurrah. And I guarantee you, we'll see Bill around for at least 2 more years.
Yes, Frederick, there I go again. Can't get enough of America's team. And yes, you are correct that Bill Belichick will probably be coaching next year because of the NFL vacancies. At one point in the past 48 hours, there were 8 openings after Bill Belichick announced his retirement. Congratulations to Gerard Mayo, the heir apparent to Bill Belichick, since, like you said, they promoted from within. They were quick about it so that there was no confusion as to what steps Robert Kraft was going to take next. He already had the succession plan in place, and I'm pretty sure Bill Belichick orchestrated this succession plan, so there should be minor hiccups in the front office of the New England Patriots, since Bill Belichick is also the GM and is no longer going to serve in that capacity. I know Robert Kraft already has a plan in place to who the next GM is going to be. Now, as it pertains to Bill Belichick, I think that he will end up somewhere on the West Coast, either with the Chargers or possibly the Raiders if they don't decide to keep Antonio Pierce. But I believe that he will get at least half of those victories that he is looking for sometime next year, depending on what team that he lands with. I've heard his name floated for Atlanta, maybe, possibly, don't know. I don't know if that would actually help him in his pursuit. It might extend his pursuit another year because Atlanta is not. You know what I'm saying? It's going to take him a while if you go down there in hot Atlanta. But best wishes to Bill Belichick. His disciple decided to call it quits as well. And a level of domination, and this is where I can honestly be objective and give Nick Saban his just due. Nick Saban has been at Alabama for the past 17 years. You, as a diehard Alabama fan, know the struggles that y'all had, and ever since Paul Bear Bryant retired in '82, getting one more championship with Sterling after that. But between '82 and '06, y'all had some dark days down there in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, man.
With the arrival of Nick Saban, you went on a magnificent run, 17-year run, getting 6th title as well. Nick Saban being the greatest college football coach of all time. I wouldn't say that he's the greatest football coach of all time. The things that he was able to accomplish down there in Alabama, even though you had a lot of 5- and 4-star recruits, they still have to perform on the field. They still have to buy into the philosophy that the coach is selling. They still have to take their individual pride and egos aside and put it aside because they're, remember, 4- and 5-star athletes, and buy into the system. And no one did it better than Nick Saban. So hats off to Nick. I thank him for getting LSU a national championship back in 2003, taking LSU off of the national championship hiatus that they had been on for 40 years. So Nick Saban has been a proven winner wherever he has gone. He started off under Bill Belichick as his defensive coordinator with the Cleveland Browns in the mid-'90s when he was on that national stage, and he has continually left his mark in a positive way wherever he has gone. So congratulations to him on a successful collegiate career, professional career. I am happy to see him go.
Man, you see Karen
him go.
Karen called the man Satan. Could that be because of how many times Alabama beat up on Georgia? Why would we call the man Satan? And if I could just get a few minutes to talk about my coach, since it's my team, man, Nick Saban, man, you know, for me, one, I'm happy for him. And there's a lot of Alabama fans out there that's upset, they frustrated, give us one more year. Then he give them one more year, what? Then they be talking about another year. The man is 72 years old. He don't owe Alabama anything. He didn't change. Even though he left the NFL, he has changed the landscape of the NFL because you can't look at a team on Sunday and not see players on this team from his team. You got professional head coaches that fall under the Nick Saban tree. Yes, you got professional head coaches out there and people that come from his tree. So, and they use the process. Let's talk about the relationship between him and Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick will be the first one to tell you that he glad Nick Saban went into college and left the NFL. A lot of people, Miami fans, they hated him because they say he abandoned them, but he didn't. If you go back and look at the history of that team, they didn't get that man the quarterback that he wanted. He wanted Drew Brees. Drew Brees went to New Orleans, and they brought Culpepper in there. And Nick Saban said, you know what? I already see how this is going to work. I ain't going to have control like I'm going to have control in college football. That's the reason why Deion don't want to do NFL. Deion said he's staying in college as well because he just find it hard to try to get people that's getting paid millions of dollars to ask them to do their daggone job. But I am happy for Coach Saban. I'm happy for his family. He'll still be around. He showed up to work today. Look, man, he got more security than the president do. They still had state troopers and everything escorting this guy in there, man. And he gonna be around. You know what I would like to see Nick Saban? I would like to see Nick Saban replace Lee Corso on Saturday morning with ESPN, man, on College Game Day.
No. Well, it's time. I'm not gonna say it's time.
It's time for Lee Corso to go. I'm gonna say it.
I would say that Nick Saban is above providing week-to-week commentary on the college football landscape in 2024 and beyond. You said he's 72 years old. It's a time for him to go out and enjoy the fishing that he has in that huge lake in his backyard. So I'm pretty sure that is what he's going to do. Of course, he's going to have the influence over that team over the next several years because the team that you have now is his team. The team that you're going to have next year is going to be his team, just with a new head coach and a new staff and a new select player or two. Now, with the replacement of Nick Saban, Alabama going to be all right. For everybody crying about, oh my God, what is going to happen now? Alabama going to be all right. The coach that you're bringing in from the University of Washington has a phenomenal coaching record himself, 104-12 as a coach. And I don't want to talk about him, just letting everybody know Alabama going to be all right. With Nick Saban, the impact that he had on the NFL that you said that, the players that are in today's NFL, and even going back over the past 20 years, to be honest, has left an indelible imprint on the game, as well as his mentor, Bill Belichick, right? Yes, the influence is going to be there, like I said, until 2026, 2027 at a minimum. And players are going to want to go to Alabama just to get that here in the next several years because Alabama is going to continue to be a national powerhouse. So congratulations to Mr. Saban, a phenomenal collegiate career, a phenomenal professional career in coaching. Another person who has spent 40 years in the game himself and has won at every level and is truly, without any real conversation, the greatest college football coach of all time, ever. It's not even a conversation. The only collegiate coach that can actually compare their level of success to Nick Saban would be John Wooden. And John Wooden is slightly above, simply because of the amount of championships to me. In football, nobody even comes close to Nick Saban. So, hey, congratulations. Man, it was the week that was in either the firings or historical imprints on the game at both the collegiate level and the NFL level decide to call it quits. Pete Carroll, the Seattle Seahawks, another legendary coach, both on the collegiate level and in the NFL, has spent considerable time on both levels, both early in his career and later in his career, having a magical time as the USC head coach when he was down there with Matt Lyon and the best running back ever to come out of USC, Reggie Bush. And early on in his career when he was the Jets head coach, and then finally settling in Seattle, where he led the Legion of Boom, created the Legion of Boom, to be honest, because that team was led by the defense. Pete Carroll is a happy-go-lucky type of coach. Again, another person that is 72 years old, done everything, won on every level, both on the collegiate level and on the NFL level. One of the very few coaches that has a natty and a Super Bowl championship. Should have had two if the quarterback hadn't changed the play and given the ball to the beast, and they would have had to. But man, congratulations, Pete Carroll. What do you got for him?
Hey, again, another hats off to him, and I see Pete Carroll he's standing in Seattle as an advisor. He's just stepping down as a coach, man. Again, you look at the landscape of NFL now. They all going toward these younger coaches, man. And I think that's a good thing, right? And not taking away from what Pete Carroll, but he was surprised just as much as the players was because he wasn't expecting this. From what I'm told, I seen Richard Sherman them earlier today. You could tell the impact that he had on his players, how much they loved him. They can blame that on Russell Wilson about that play call. I think the NFL commissioner said you better not hand that ball off to beast mode because we already hated him. He was already that whole year. It was nothing but contention. He would have scored that touchdown and he would have been the MVP of the Super Bowl. And then they would have been like, how can we make this guy the MVP of the Super Bowl who said, I'm just here so I don't get fined every time he got interviewed.
I'm just here so I don't get fined, boss.
Pete Carroll has nothing to be ashamed of. He had a great career, man. And again, another one of those guys. I'm glad to see these guys not being on the sideline, damn near about to pass out and not getting a chance to enjoy life.
Yes, sir.
Stepping away from that sideline probably adds some years to their life, man. Because like Nick Saban even said it. This last year was a lot. It was stressful on him. He said by far one of the toughest years he had to have, and he just couldn't do it no more. And then Miss Tigger, she said he got to go. So it is what it is. But salute to Mr. Pete Carroll.
Yes, sir. I agree with everything that you just said. And 72 for all three of them, ironically, it's time to allow your beloved coaches to enjoy the remainder of their days here on earth. And I'm pretty sure each, with the exception of Bill Belichick, Alabama's community is going to rely on Nick Saban's advisement and wisdom over the next several years as he brings along this new incoming coach from Washington. And if Pete Carroll decides to stay off of the sideline and remain in an advisory role with the Seahawks, then I'm pretty sure he's going to continue to influence whoever that next coach is going to be. Pete Carroll was one of the best coaches that the NFL has ever seen, one of the best coaches that college football has ever seen, because he led one of the best 2-year span teams in college football. And we all remember that magical national championship game between the University of Texas and USC back in 2005 with Vince Young scoring that touchdown to give Texas their last natty. But the year before, Matt Lyon and Reggie Bush and the other running back and those receivers they had, man, Pete Carroll had the NCAA on fire, just like Dion had it on fire this year, even though they had a 4-8 record. So congratulations to Pete Carroll. And let us officially welcome the RoundTable audience. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to tonight's show. For the remainder of the podcast, we will be diving into these 6 wildcard games this weekend. So we appreciate the commentary that you have already shared tonight. Thank you, my brother-in-law Clarence on here. I see you. Troy, the usual suspect. Alabama can go to hockey
I mean, he's a South Carolina.
Right? But
Troy, a South Carolina guy, man. He ain't paying Troy no attention, man.
Hey, Troy's a cock from the Gamecocks, baby. Hey, brother
Drew,
what's going on, brother?
Hey, you remember when we was drill size, man? They was giving them tickets away. They was giving them tickets to them Gamecocks.
I know, man. I know. They were like, hey, drill sergeant, can y'all bring y'all students, or drill sergeant, can you bring your basic trainees to the game this weekend? We need to fill some seats. It is homecoming. It's homecoming down there in Columbia.
They were giving them things away.
Yes, sir. Hey, Troy, I got it. Y'all. I'm not even going to go down there on the Gamecocks.
Troy hater, man.
No Gamecocks,
man. Let's go ahead, man. Troy
yes,
throw us off, man. Let's go.
Again, thank you for joining us. We are looking forward to the commentary and the feedback and the predictions that y'all have for these 6 games this weekend. Ladies and gentlemen, I am already predicting there's going to be 2 huge upsets, but we're going to see. Let us start with everybody's favorite team to talk about, good, bad, or indifferent. Them Cowboys down there in Dallas. We mentioned on Tuesday night show that the Cowboys and the Packers have history. We pushed a promo clip this week showing the catch that was not the catch when Dez actually caught the ball from Tony Romo when they were playing up there in Lambeau and were robbed of a touchdown. Don't know if they were going to win the game, but they were robbed of a touchdown, which led to a creation or the reignition of a rivalry that started way back in the 60s. Man, y'all are favored to blow the doors off of these young Packers who many people say should not even be in the playoffs. And I'm still mad, yes, because if they had not stole that game that the Saints gave away way back when, the Saints will be playing y'all this weekend, which we will both be in Dallas. So do you think, and now it's time to really, talk about this game and put all of the hoopla aside and let's get into the playbook and see how Dallas does what Dallas is supposed to do, or how Green Bay can travel down and shock the world. What do you think?
So I would say this, first of all, man, you got the number 1 and the number 2 passing touchdown quarterbacks in this game. Dak is number 1. Believe it or not, Jordan Love can throw 32 touchdowns, make him the number 2 passing quarterback in the league this year. He got a team that's coming up there that ain't got nothing to lose and everything to gain. So I can see them coming up there, all this blowing them out by 14. Like in the mortal words of my former college football coach, Nick Saban, that's rat poison. We ain't listening to that rat poison. We got to still go in there and do what we got to do. We got to stop Aaron Rodgers. The key thing that the Cowboys got to do first.
Aaron Rodgers.
Not Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Jones. My bad.
Jordan Love.
No. I'm worried about Jordan Love. My key concern with Green Bay is not allowing Aaron Jones to be able to run the ball. Because if he can run the ball against the Cowboys, then that means Dak is not on the field. We have to be able to stop the run. That's one of the things I think we definitely have to do first. And then being able to come out there and us being able to establish a run along with getting those CeeDee Lamb, Cooks, and the tight ends involved in the game. I mean, we 8-0 at home this year, but this is a new season. We 0-0 right now. The playoffs is a whole nother season. All that stuff means nothing right now. We can't take our foot off the brake. We got to come in there and we got to be dominant right off the bat.
You're absolutely correct. And, we talk about matchups is how we're now 0-0. So you can't actually live off of the reputation that we have been undefeated at home this week or this year. We have scored an average of 40-plus points when at home. So we feel good as the home team that this should carry over into the playoffs. But we all know that when the playoffs starts, we're 0-0 and anything can happen. And it's about matchups. But Troy just said something in the chat that made perfect sense. Jair Alexander is out, and that is the best player that Green Bay has on their defense. That is the difference maker that they have on their defense. And with Dallas actually having a true number one receiver this year in CeeDee Lamb and him balling out all year, you expect Dak to go to CeeDee a lot because he's not going to have crowd noise to deal with. It's not so much as to whether or not Aaron Jones can be effective and the Green Bay offense can keep up with Dallas, because it's going to have to be, I'm going to keep up with Dallas, because their defense is not built to stop a team like Dallas on offense. Dallas is going to score. The issue is going to be whether or not my defense plays smart. My defense is aggressive, but we stay in our lanes. We ensure that we contain Jordan Love and keep Jordan Love in the pocket, because we don't want Jordan Love to begin to scat and attempt to create plays for himself, because that is when we as a Cowboys team are going to become vulnerable and get taken advantage of. So you have to apply the pressure on Jordan Love, and the run game for Green Bay is not going to be as impactful as people think, because Dallas is going to play those lanes early, and it is going to force Matt LaFleur to take the ball out of Aaron Jones's hands and Dylan's hands and put it into Jordan Love's hands, because Dallas is going to score early. And if Green Bay goes down by double digits, 10 or more in the first half, they're going to have to abandon the run, go to the pass, and that's when Dallas can pin its ears back and bring that heat.
Hey, man, that's what I want to see, man. That's the way I want to see it. But I just know Aaron Rodgers. I mean, I keep saying Aaron Rodgers, man. I got PTSD, man. I've been to several games where this dude that took games from me in the last minute. That's the other piece, though. That's the other piece when you talk about the history between these two teams. Basically, definitely in the last 10, 15 years, it was Aaron Rodgers, always that guy coming there doing it to us. You got a new look at quarterback right now. I just don't need Aaron Jones to be. This guy to average at least 110 yards in the last 3 games. I don't need him to average another 110 yards against us, because if he do, then that means he's controlling the clock. Yes, sir.
So let me ask you this question. You say that Aaron Jones is averaging 100 yards a game. Great, for the last 3 years. And in your intro, you mentioned Jordan Love being the second best quarterback with 32 touchdowns this year, and the Green Bay passing game creating those opportunities for the run game. So which is it? Does the run game drive the passing game and Jordan Love the opportunities to do what he's doing? Or is it for Green Bay, the passing game
is always
creating those opportunities for Aaron Jones
to get those yards late in the season? If you ever going to ask me, I'm always going to tell you the run game is what create passing, because Joker starts stepping up in that box. That's how receivers get one-on-one coverage, all right? And that's just basically how I've always seen it. Why run if you don't have to pass the ball, because you establish a run, you're going to keep on running the ball. Then what happens when you establish a run, what teams start to do? They start to step up, and then now you got that one-on-one coverage. What Troy said, man.
Troy is going in on either us or somebody in the chat talking about doing about face, take a knee, drink plenty of water, and then kick your alpha sugar around the block. I understand that, Troy. That is not the Army of 2023. That was the Army of 1979, between 1979 and 1999. All right, and Mr. Benjamin Kirk saying that I think Dallas is going to the Super Bowl. Yeah, anybody can think that. I
know, Ben. I know
is the question. Do you
know they going, Ben? They going, Ben.
Hey, and buying tickets don't justify the statement either.
Okay, so what's your pick, man? So we go. What's your pick?
This is so tonight, ladies and gentlemen, as we move from game to game, we will go ahead and offer our pick. So we suggest or would like for you to offer your pick of that game's winner as well. This is going to be a very interesting game in the first half. The first half is a game of chess. I look for the Cowboys to have a lot of success on the offensive side and to test the waters on the defensive side. Take a couple of chances to see how effective Green Bay can actually be and to see how much pressure and or how shook we can get Jordan Love. If we are able to do that by getting a couple of sacks in the first half as a Cowboys defense, I think the Cowboys run away with this game. But if Dallas plays conservatively in the first half, and it's, like one of these heavyweight fights where we are trying to see what the other person or other opponent is going to do, Dallas going to mess around and allow Green Bay to hang around. And then it is anybody's game in the fourth quarter. Ooh, the pucker factor going to be real tight if y'all let them stay in the fourth quarter. But I'm going with the Cowboys at home to send Green Bay back to Lambeau with nothing.
Hey man, to buy us some more time since you so eloquently, I use a big word. That's my big word for the day, eloquently. Said that the Cowboys, man, the Cowboys. What's the word I told you supposed to use in the green room?
Yes, sir. Now, I was going to introduce this just for conversational purposes, but I think it's actually going to be real if we're going into the fourth quarter and this game is close. We're going to have the Cowboy fans being nervous, on the edge of their seats, and at 5 minutes left, we're about to scare the bejesus out of them because this game is going to be a one-possession game, and they're going to be calling on the bejesus, the baby Jesus, the young Jesus, and the 33-year-old Jesus to come and help them because this could be turning into something that the Cowboy Nation could not fathom because this is your best chance to go to the Super Bowl, as many of the people in the chat have said. If y'all allow Green Bay to be within a touchdown in the fourth quarter, y'all gonna get the bejesus scared out of you.
I'm just gonna tell you this, man. I'm sticking with plan A. It ain't no plan B. The Cowboys winning by 14. Next
I feel you. All right, Benjamin said Cowboys by 21. We gonna see come Tuesday if we got some explaining to do. Man, let us move on to another game where it would be a shocker. All right, and Cowboys, by the way, play on Sunday afternoon at 4:30 for those that are interested. Steelers, first game on Sunday, going into Buffalo. The expected temperature in Buffalo is going to be cold. We knew that. Blizzard-like, we probably knew that, with a lot of snow. We knew that too. Oh, but what we didn't know is that we have expected winds of up to 50 to 60, sometimes even 70 miles per hour with wind gusts. Wind chill, gonna be cold. But guess what? That usually favors the defense. Do you think the Pittsburgh Steelers have a shot to go up into Buffalo and knock off Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills?
This would be the upset of the weekend for me if Pittsburgh win this game. Because again, like you said, it does favor the defense, but the Steelers got a lot of injuries. One, Watts is not playing in this game. That's a factor. That's a huge factor. I have to get a +2 if it just become strictly a defensive game, and then the only thing happening is the running backs running the ball. You got to remember Josh Allen is also part of their running game along with Cooks. So I just, it's not an advantage to either team because both of them used to playing in the cold. But I can tell you, man, based off how the wind been so disrespectful here today in Texas, I can only imagine what it is in New York right now, man. I wouldn't want to be up there. It should be, at this point, every team in the NFL should have a dome, man. I don't know how teams still playing outside. It's bullcrap, man.
Because it is intentional. It is the culture. It is the accepted culture of that area. Pittsburgh wouldn't even know how to act in a dome at home. That is not who they are. They are the Steel City for a reason, right? Buffalo has the Mafia for a reason. That is who they are.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. When you was a drill sergeant, you was out there in the cold and all that bullcrap. When you was in the military, you was hoo-hoo. You going out there being hoo-hoo. Now that you know what the good life feel like, they'll adjust. I promise you, them jokers will adjust real quick. They be like, man, we've been missing out on this whole time. Man, why we ain't had a dome? I guarantee you they wouldn't be upset.
Nah, you're right. You're right. I'm just talking because the Vikings. Yeah, you're right. Because the Vikings just 5 years ago were playing outside, and while their new place got built, and they were happy to get into that new place after they moved out of the Metro Dome way back when. So for Pittsburgh to have a shot, because I've been saying it all year, their offensive is trash. And even though Mason Rudolph has found some new life being reincarnated off the bench, and Najee and his running mate have had some late season success. George Pickens has had some late season success after he was kind of targeted for his lack of effort in the middle of the season. For them to have a legitimate shot to go up into Pittsburgh or into Buffalo, and you say shock the world, and this be the biggest upset of the weekend, they have to run the ball. We know that. We know that teams can have offensive success running the ball against Buffalo. But you mentioned Josh Allen being part of the Buffalo run game. That is how I believe Buffalo is going to keep Pittsburgh off the field, by keeping Josh Allen as part of that run game, because Josh Allen is most likely going to be the leading rusher for both teams this weekend. How does you said the defense missing Watt, it has to apply that pressure. So how does Mike Tomlin find a way? I'm looking for a way for the Steeler Nation, who have the second biggest fan base following the Cowboys, for them to make it up to Buffalo and take a W away from Josh Allen and send Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs and that entire Bills Mafia packing just after the very first night of playoff football.
So they got to figure out a way to keep Josh Allen from being able to scramble outside of the pocket. If they put pressure on him, you know what happens when you put pressure on Josh Allen. They got to take advantage of the opportunities. When he gives them the opportunity to get a turnover, which he will, we already know he is accident prone. They got to take advantage of that. So they got to play a complete game. They're going to need some people to step up, especially with Watts not being in the game to assist. They're going to need some assistance. Joey Porter Jr. is probably the best thing that they do have in the secondary. The one thing I would say, the Buffalo Bills, I don't think Gabe Davis is going to be playing this weekend, so they're going to be kind of like limited. He's hurting, so now that takes a weapon away from Josh Allen, and Josh Allen will force some stuff. The Steelers just got to take advantage of when he forces some things.
Right. Time for the picks. It's going to be cold. It's going to be windy. Weather's hit or miss. It could have a lot of snow. It could not have a lot of snow, but this is upstate New York, so expect a lot of snow this weekend. This game is being played in the daytime, Sunday at 1:00. So both teams are embracing the cold weather. So that's not a real advantage or disadvantage. It is the turnovers that has been mentioned in the chat that is going to be the difference. It's going to be a tight game. Buffalo is not going to run away with this, but I'm going to go with the Bills to win at home this weekend and send the Steeler Nation packing after having a phenomenal season, outperforming what they should have, to be honest. But I think Buffalo wins because Mason Rudolph just ain't it.
Yeah, I think, like you said earlier, it's going to be a defensive struggle game. I wouldn't be surprised this game don't even get into the double digits, but the Bills, it's probably going to be a field goal to decide this game. But I still predict the Bills to win this game at home.
Yes, sir. All right, let's move on. Tyreek, going back to Cali, going back to KC, going back home. Does Tyreek have a shot? Does his speed have what will be the difference maker in what is going to be another cold weather game Saturday night at 8:30 or 8:15? It's supposed to be below zero. You think the Miami Dolphins got a shot, or the Miami Dolphins are just going to go and get their butts handed to them?
I think that it's going to be a hard one because of that. The only reason why I think there's going to be a tough game for Miami is because of the cold weather and because of the injuries that they already have. Raheem still ain't practiced this week. I think they got Jalen Ramsey is hurt over there on the other side of the ball. I think he got a situation going on. Don't know if Water gonna be playing, and if Water do play, man, that cold weather is gonna be a factor, man. And the only thing that they really got going for them is that the Chief offense still, here it is, Wildcard Weekend, and we still don't know what the Chief offense look like. They played the whole season.
As you said that, Miles say Chiefs about 50. About 50. Miles say
See,
Chiefs about
see,
50.
see, see,
Man,
see, Miles thinking with his heart and not his head, man. He thinking with his
yeah,
heart,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm all for that. And I do. Not to drag this thing. I do think the Chiefs gonna win this game, but again, because of the weather and all the other stuff, I just think it's gonna be a bad day for Tua. I think they're gonna be able to put that pressure on Tua. We've already seen what happens. Statistically, if the Chiefs get at least 3 sacks, the Dolphins lose. Tua is 1-5 when he been sacked 3 or more times in the game this year. So yeah, I think it's gonna be a long night, man. I know I wouldn't want to be out there. Another reason why teams need to have domes, man. This is BS, man. I don't see no why
Hey,
in 2024 why teams still playing outside. I'm sorry.
man,
Look, the
it's a
Raiders,
part,
the
it's a part
Raiders,
of the
the
culture,
Raiders,
bro.
Drew,
I
the
bet you.
Raiders used to play outside. The Raiders used to play outside. Ask them to do they loving it down in Vegas now.
Oh, of course they love it down there in Vegas because it is different when you're in Vegas. But you
They in a
ask
dome though.
these fans of the Buffalo Bills, you ask
Crazy.
these fans of the Green Bay Packers whether or not they would rather play in a dome or whether they would like to play as they are playing outside. They will tell
Brainwash.
you it is part of our identity. We are not changing. So suck it up, Mr. Southern guy from Alabama who don't understand how it is to be cold. But getting to this game, you mentioned the weather playing a difference or making a difference. Yes. Miles is confident that for some reason, playing in 0-degree weather, it will help his receivers actually catch the ball. From the best quarterback in the National Football League, you have the best tight end in the National Football League. Now, whether or not Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce can connect back up, that is going to be the difference maker. I think that the passing game is going to be able to be utilized for both teams. I think both teams can have some offensive success. The difference with cold weather, it is whether or not when I'm hobbling, I can usually suck it up in warm weather areas or in a dome and kind of push through, depending on whatever pain management plan I'm on. But in the cold, don't. You usually can't. And when you're hobbled, it is exacerbated when you're playing in outdoor cold weather. And we're playing again in a sub-degree or sub-0 degree stadium where the wind is going to be a factor with 24 hours out from the game. But the same cold weather that affects Miami is the same cold weather that affects the players from Kansas City. It is the mindset, the mentality. Am I tougher than you? Right? And Kansas City is going to have to believe that they are tougher and will be able to outlast Miami. Miami, they did it to themselves, though. They were playing at home last weekend for the division. So if they get bounced, they get bounced. No sympathy. Yeah.
Who you pick, man? Who you pick?
I think the Chiefs defend home field.
Okay.
And send Miami packing. And in a close one, but I think the Chiefs send them packing.
Okay. So Troy asked the question, do you think Tua's arm is strong enough to play in those conditions?
Tua's arms is as strong as any other player in the National Football League other than Patrick Mahomes. Have y'all seen Tua throw? Tua can zip it. Yeah. Tua can throw it 60 yards in the air. Tua can throw it at 20, 30 miles or whatever the average speed is for an NFL quarterback across the middle. So, or throwing a 10 to 15 yard out route. Yeah, his arm is strong enough. It depends on whether or not it's going to be windy. So we'll see.
The only people that don't believe that is actually Miami fans for whatever reason. I don't understand it, but they got one of the best quarterbacks in the game.
They do.
And at the end of the day, it ain't the quarterback teams are scoring on them. So it is what it is. I love when they blame the quarterback for the loss, but your defense didn't stop the opposing team. So, yeah, it's gonna be like Miles said, it's gonna be a ground pounding game if you ask me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It'll be a plus. It'll be a plus if they can get Raheem in there and be, Raheem and A-Chain going back and forth. That'll be a plus for Miami. because
Yeah.
you only got Pacheco over there on the other side.
Yeah.
Clyde and Larry, we don't. He be hurt all the time. We don't know what you're gonna get with that LSU boy. So I just thought I'd throw that joke. You know I can't stand that Joker, man. That Joker, the reason why we lost that national championship. It wasn't Joe Burrows. It was Clyde. It was a left.
It was that halftime touchdown.
Probably the best game that Joker ever had.
Yep. Yeah. So Miles, as much as I talk to Griff and make fun of Griff and threaten Griff about his team losing, y'all better not lose tomorrow because I got something for you on Tuesday, as well as my good friend Lucas, who is a huge Kansas City fan. So y'all better not lose. Y'all better take care of minutes at home. Don't let them 305 boys come down there in Kansas City and take your barbecue sauce on the way out the door with that dub. Don't let them do it.
We would have something for Troy, but his team ain't playing this weekend.
I'm laughing. My team ain't playing this weekend either. All right, man. Let's go to the biggest game of the weekend in my book. The biggest game of the weekend. The Cleveland Browns are traveling down to the Houston Texans, take on the upstart, the young and fun Houston Texans, led by their superstar quarterback C.J. Stroud and their superstar rookie coach DeMeco Ryan, and that huge Houston crowd, which is going to be led by one each Garrett Griffin on this weekend. All right, so can Houston take care of business less than 24 hours away from this game? Kicks off tomorrow afternoon at 4:30. Does Houston put it in to the Cinderella run for Joe Flacco and the Cleveland Browns, or do the Cleveland Browns and that bad defense go down and close the door on the Texans season?
So what I want to say is, first, I want to say congratulations to probably the coach of the year in DeMeco Ryans.
Agreed.
Congratulations to the offensive rookie of the year, C.J. Stroud, hands down. But to answer your question, the Cinderella run is over for the Texans, bro. I'm just gonna keep it real with you. Oh yes, I know Michael Sanders is on here. That's his team. He be drinking everything C.J. Stroud do or whatever. But I just think that defense from Cleveland will be something serious, baby. Myles Garrett, one of the top defenses coming in, and they're in the top 5 in almost every category, to include that secondary. They're gonna come in there and they're gonna put that heat. I ain't taking nothing away from CJ because the last time they played, CJ didn't play. But that defense played, and Amari Cooper got 246 yards receiving in that game. And even if they try to shut Amari Cooper down, the way Flacco has been playing, man, Flacco looked like a whole nother. He looked better than he did when he was, like I said last week, when he was on the Super Bowl team. That offense, along with that defense, I just think it's going to be too much for the Titans. The Titans had a good run this year, but I expect Cleveland Browns. I'm giving my pick now. Cleveland Browns will win this game by at least by a touchdown.
Man, I swear before my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, I think you were inside my head, because that is exactly what I was about to say. Houston has had a phenomenal season. Houston does have the coach of the year, the rookie offensive rookie of the year, but their season is going to come to an end tomorrow as well, because, bro, Myles Garrett is probably the strongest dude in the NFL. I mean, from his pinky toe all the way up to the strands on his hair, this dude just is as dominant as he wants to be when healthy. And Houston doesn't have enough to double team him consistently throughout the game, because the rest of the Cleveland Browns defensive line is almost as good and as physically talented as Myles Garrett is. So they're going to be able to get to C.J. Stroud. I saw in the comments that it was the Cleveland Browns defense about to give the rookie a wake-up call. He's no longer a rookie. He's a seasoned veteran at this point. And you cannot instill fear into the heart of C.J. Stroud, because he has already shown that he has no fear when he is on the football field. So he is going to take those punches, those body blows, and the Houston Texans are in the playoffs for a reason. They're going to be able to adjust. And I know that in my opening, I said they're going to lose. They simply don't have enough on offense to keep up with Joe Flacco and the reinvigorated Houston or Cleveland offense. They're not going to be able to outscore Cleveland with Cleveland's defense, because we know defense travels. So Congratulations to the Houston Texans. Y'all had a phenomenal season. See y'all in February at the award show when your quarterback and your coach gets those 2 awards. But your season will be coming to an end tomorrow because Joe Flacco, 38-year-old Joe Flacco is getting ready to lead the Cleveland Browns to the NFL divisional round. I salute them. We're going to see what everybody in the chat says too. Who they got? Texans?
Nah, I think only one person got it. Michael Sanders, my old battle buddy from Germany. He the only one got him, man. I told you, he drank.
And Benjamin. Benjamin said that they got one more win in them.
Man, Ben is heavily medicated right now. You got to forgive him, man. Ben heavily medicated right now. I love it.
I take that back. He also said the Titans got one more win left in them this year.
Hey,
right, so man.
Let's get to Adrian's team, man. Adrian said he apologized for his tardiness, but he tardy on purpose because it's only one thing that he wanted to see what we had to talk about his squad.
We haven't got to his team yet. We're gonna get to his team.
Look, man. He said his squad tanked the rest of the season so they can have an easy schedule next year. Now they about to blow everybody up.
Okay. We're going to talk about that in just 1 minute. But before we talk about Adrian's team and those Eagles fly, let's talk about the Matthew Stafford reunion back in Detroit and whether or not Jared Goff's looking on the other side of that sideline and seeing his former Ram teammates and one each, Aaron Donald, who's going to be trying to decapitate him, not physically or literally, but bring some pain on him. Do you think the Detroit Lions defend home field going up against the hottest team in the National Football League in reality over the past 6-7 weeks, the Los Angeles Rams, and keep Matthew Stafford out of the W column and send him home in his season and the Rams season and allow the Cinderella story for the Detroit Lions to continue?
So first of all, man, it's been 30 years since Detroit had a playoff game at home. 30 years. And that in itself is a huge, let's give them a clap, man, because it's been a long time. And but for me personally, Drew, I'm just gonna be honest with you, man. This is one of the games that I predicted. I see the Rams going there and beating Detroit. And I'll tell you why. First of all, we all know that Jared Goff played for the Rams. Stafford played for the Lions. It's a reason why Jared Goff is up there with the Lions is because Jared Goff, that Mr. Happy Feet, and when you not already talk, when Arnold coming at him and that defense gonna come at him, that joke is prone to get the ball up. Detroit, if they want to win this game against the Rams, they got to put it in the hands of them two. I call what you want to call it, kid and play or lightning and salt and pepper with Gibbs and Montgomery and let them two run. They got 2,000-yard rushes over there. That's the only way they're gonna be able to do it. Because if Stafford is on that field, Puka Nacua and daggone Cooper Kupp is gonna have a field day. Because that secondary is by far it's one of the awful secondaries in the league. It's ranked in probably the bottom 10 of all categories in the secondary. So Stafford is gonna have a field day. They gonna need Hudson to put some heat on somebody too. So, but I don't see it. I picked the Rams and I turn it over to you, man. I think the Rams win this game.
You've made a very strong argument for the Rams, and that is an understandable argument as to why people believe the Rams are going to go into Detroit and win this game. We started off the show giving some acknowledgments and our tip of the hat to 3 great coaches, and I'm gonna do a quick Nick Saban plug here in a minute. But the Detroit Lions have shown who they are. They went down to Dallas and repeatedly threw caution to the wind, went for 4th and whatever, putting the game on the line consecutively, not even hesitating. That lets you know that Dan Campbell possesses no fear as a head coach. He believes in his team so much to where he is willing to take chances on his half of the field. So look for the Detroit Lions, one, to take way too many chances in the play call and going for more than your average share of 4th and whatever, depending on where they are on the field and what part of the game we're at. First off. Second, look for a lot of trick plays from the Detroit Lions. Look for trick plays on offense, a few reverses here and there, or double reverse, or receiver pass to the quarterback, to another receiver, or to a running back, or to a lineman, because they've shown they are willing to take those types of chances. You said Matthew Stafford is going to have a whole lot of success because of that terrible defense. And here's my Nick Saban plug. You made the comment at the beginning of the show that Nick Saban has had an impact on the NFL for the past 20 years because of the players that he puts in the NFL and where they are and how successful they are. And Miami or the Detroit Lions just so happen to have two current NFL players on their team come from Alabama. The running back Gibbs that we mentioned is part of that Thunder and Lightning, or that Mike and Ike, or that Chili and Pepper, or that, Fresh Prince and Jazzy Jeff combination. And then you have Williams on the outside. And you say that Goff is going to have to give up his passing to allow the run game to drive this train. And we know that run game controls the game with those 2,000-yard receivers. But the difference maker in this game will be that receiver on the outside, Williams. He is going to make a big play, and the Detroit Lions are going to defend home field, and they are going to beat the Los Angeles Rams and send McVay backpacking to L.A., the former Detroit Lion backpacking to L.A., and end Aaron Donald's season. So I think the Detroit Lions take care of business, man.
I love it, man. I love. See, this is why we're America's team. See, we talking about the Lions right now, and Joker still figure out a way to get the Cowboys in.
Ain't nobody saying nothing about those Cowboys, man.
No, not you. You got to look at the chat, man.
I see the chat. I know Michael Sanders talking about the Lions going to knock the Cowboys out. I got it. As we're talking about the Cowboys, let's talk about the Cowboys' foe. Their biggest rival every year, Adrian's favorite team. Love that name, by the way. The Philadelphia Eagles, who couldn't buy a W the last 5-6 weeks since they were intentionally throwing the games so that they could lose home field advantage and go on the road against Tampa Bay with a broken finger for the quarterback and receivers who are all out, it seems. I don't even know if the Eagles got enough to score 10 points in this game, to be honest with you. What you think?
Man, AJ ain't practiced all week. I mean, again, he got the weekend, but you got Devontae hurt. We don't know if Jalen gonna hate, because I'm gonna tell you right now, I done had my finger dislocated, and you can put all the tape and everything, but that's on his throwing hand. That's gonna be a huge effect. That Joker hand is big right now. I don't care what nobody say. Probably icing it down. They just shot it up with a whole bunch of stuff, but it's gonna be a tall task for them, man. And that front from Tampa Bay, it ain't no joke, man. Vita Veda and them coming, baby, and you better believe it. So they gonna have to rely heavy on their run if they gonna have a chance, especially if you're talking about Devontae Smith might not be playing, AJ Brown might not be playing, and if he is playing, he probably gonna be a decoy. He ain't gonna be full of strength out there. And as much as we talk bad about, or I talk bad, I'm gonna say much as I talk bad about Baker Mayfield. Yeah, Baker Mayfield probably had one of his best years since he's been in the league, and he got some weapons over there as far as with Evans and with Godwin, but he also got a running game. They didn't add Zaire White, and he's not just a part of the running game, he's a part of the passing game. So the Eagles, they not the defense that we thought they were, and it's been proven. And where they hurt the most is in the secondary. And so I think that defense is going to be exposed. And I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will win this game at home against the Eagles fly.
Wow.
Go big or go home, baby.
You said a lot. Man, I tell you, you and I both have ribbed Baker Mayfield a lot this year. I've always ribbed the Tampa Bay Buccaneers simply because they're in our division, and I don't give them the just due that they so rightfully deserve at times. But Tampa Bay is, if not the best, they're one of the top 3 sideline to sideline defensive teams. I would say number 2 behind the San Francisco 49ers and that defense. And having no outside weapons in A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith and or Dallas Goedert, you would have to rely heavily on your run game. Swift is not that up the middle type of running back that you think that he is, even though that he's had a little bit of success this year doing that. He's more of I'm running outside of the tackles, not inside of the tackles. Well, with Devin White and all of those, that defensive linebacker team that Tampa Bay has, I don't see how the Eagles are able to consistently create offense. And the Tampa Bay offense is good enough, even though they only put up a measly 9 points against the Carolina Panthers last week to defend home field. This being a Monday night game, weather should not be a factor for either team. And man, we talk about being able to be healthy going into the playoffs. We talk about being able to have the right level of momentum going into the playoffs and to be on somewhat of a consistent win streak that you can reflect back on, even though we are all starting at 0-0 again. You want to feel good about what I have in the rearview mirror. What the Philadelphia Eagles have in the rearview mirror is terrible, the worst in the entire league over the past 6 weeks. The worst. 32nd out of 32 teams in performance. So, Adrian, bruh, y'all have a tall task. There was no such thing as we are intentionally throwing our games to get ourselves ready for the playoffs. You are what you are at this point. Your defense is terrible. Your offense has now become suspect. It is no longer credibly reliable to put up 28 points. I don't think y'all put up 21 points this weekend, to be honest. And I don't know if Tampa Bay will put up 21 points, but I know Tampa Bay going to have more points than the Philadelphia Eagles. The Philadelphia Eagles have completely shown what not to do for an NFL team after starting 10-1 in the NFL. I would say congratulations to the Eagles fans, but I know y'all going to be pissed after this weekend. So no fly, Eagles fly in the winter of 2024 for y'all. I think y'all season get ended by the Buccaneers, man. Wow.
Yeah, I ain't even. I'm gonna stay clear of my Eagle fans at least for 24 to 48 hours, man, because I don't want to get shot. Craig said I only picked the Buccaneers out of my hate for the Eagles, man. It's all love, Craig. I love them, man, but I just don't see it, man. And like Mike said down there, and I'm gonna shut my mouth. Baker is gonna actually have more. He's gonna do more this week than he did against the Panthers.
I know. Baker Mayfield. I would usually laugh at somebody say Baker Mayfield for 300 yards, but no, Baker Mayfield might have a 400 yards, especially if Mike Evans is healthy. But hey, we've talked about it. We've prognosticated about it. We've predicted about it, right? I got my 7 teams who are going to win this weekend. The Cowboys are going to defend home field. The Bills are going to defend home field. The Chiefs are going to defend home field. The Texans, y'all had a phenomenal season, but my guy Joe Flacco going to take care of that. The Lions defend home field, and damn it, I got to go with the Buccaneers in the NFC South. You want to do a quick recap before we log off for the evening, Mike?
Hey, again, man, I think off the top I said the Bills, the Cowboys, the Chiefs, the Browns, the Rams, and the Buccaneers.
So we only separating that Lions game. So we're going to see who is on top Tuesday night as it pertains to the standings. Because, ladies and gentlemen, we are not going to be tied after this weekend. I see that everybody in the chat has shared their opinions as to who they think are going to win these 6 playoff games. It all starts tomorrow afternoon, about 18 hours away. In cold. Who has the first game? I take that back. Yes, tomorrow afternoon, the Browns and the Texans. So it's not going to actually be cold in the first game.
Inside.
Inside in a dome, making Griff happy. All right, man. You got anything you want to share with the audience before we?
Like I always do, man. Just want to thank everybody again for showing up and showing out as always. I've been looking at the comments, man. Y'all just keep it. Y'all make me laugh, man. I'm telling you, that's the reason why I show up on Tuesday and Friday, just to see what new stuff y'all gonna put in there. Craig, if you can let me know how you can tell an iPhone user made their picks let me know about it because I'm a remove the iPhone user. It's Android. If you don't have an Android in 2024, then you need to go ahead and retire with
Wrong.
Nick Saban.
Hey, iPhones forever and a day. Stop it. Stop it.
Garbage. But thank y'all, man. As always, man, y'all have a great weekend. I look forward to seeing y'all all back here on Tuesday, man. I love y'all and y'all be blessed.
Yes, sir, man. Michael said 48-56 for you for not picking the home team. So you're going to have a lot to answer for if the Texans do pull it off this weekend and find a way to win. Thank you all for joining us on tonight's episode. This is the best weekend in the National Football League because you have 6 exciting games with 12 quality teams. Next weekend is going to be the biggest because you have the divisional round and then, of course, the NFC and AFC championship games, which are most likely bigger than the Super Bowl itself. So we still have a lot of football yet to be played. We mentioned at the top of the show the changing in the college football landscape with the departure of Nick Saban, the changing of the NFL landscape with the retirement of, the departure of Pete Carroll and Bill Belichick from their team. NFL going younger on the sidelines, just like it goes younger on the field. And you have young coaches across the National Football League, both on the offensive side and the defensive side, that are worthy of consideration and not necessarily have to wait my turn based on NFL internal politics. And we see that with the hiring of Gerard Mayo in New England, making him the youngest coach in the NFL. Again, congratulations to him. And we will see here over the next week or so as to whether or not these 6 vacancies will actually get filled while we're talking about real football. So hopefully your team is still in it like always. If they are, best of luck to your team this weekend. You better make sure, Miles, Griff, that your team wins, because if they don't, you're going to have a hard Tuesday night.
No, I won't.
Best of luck to you all, man. Y'all take care of yourselves this weekend. Take care of your family. Do something nice for them. Please do something nice for someone you don't even know, because it is going to be cold wherever you are in the country this weekend. Y'all be breezy.